The second episode introduced Quilge Opie, a member of the Stern Ritter. Only the strongest members of the Quincy clan were able to achieve this rank within Yuhabak's army. He will be the first Stern Ritter that Ichigo's faces, and as their battle goes on, he will use a number of attacks and abilities. And here are 7 abilities that Quilge Opie uses when fighting Ichigo. Soul Reapers use Shunpo in order to move incredibly fast, whereas Arankars use Sonido. Quincy's have their own advanced movement technique as well, and it is called Hirenkyaku. Unlike the other abilities, this one allows its user to ride the flow of reishi beneath their feet. This ability is meant to keep up with and overpower faster opponents. Even by Quincy standards, Quilge is an expert at Hirenkyaku, so much so that he can move behind someone as strong and experienced as Ichigo without him noticing. Most fans assume that Quincy only used bows in combat, but Quilge proved that that is not the case. Like other Quincy, he can turn spirit particles into a weapon, but his weapon of choice is a reishi sword that looks like an ornate military saber. That being said, Quilge can still use Heilig File, which is the standard spiritual arrow that Quincy's are known for. In his case, however, he fires these arrows from his saber, and he can shoot 6 arrows at once. His arrows are stronger than Uryu's, and they are powerful enough to generate explosions when they hit their target. Ichigo has been involved in some of Bleach's best fights, but he never had to deal with an ability like Bleach until the Quincy made their move against Hueco Mundo and Soul Society. Bleach is a Quincy ability which grants them inhuman offensive and defensive power. In order to use this ability, a Quincy needs to send reishi into their blood vessels. Quilge can use both forms of Bleach. Bleach is the defensive application, and it allowed Quilge to take a point-blank Getsuga Tensho without sustaining damage, and he was even able to fix a broken neck with ease. Bleach Artery is the offensive application, and it cannot be used at the same time as Bleach Venin. Even with this ability, Quilge was not able to destroy Ichigo's Bankai. At some point during his fight with Ichigo, Quilge will no longer be able to move, but that will not stop him from attacking. This is because Quilge is skilled enough to use a high-level Quincy technique known as Ransotengai, which allows him to control his body parts with strings made out of spiritual energy. He controls these strings with his brain, and he can control his body as if he were using a puppet. Thanks to this ability, he can keep moving and fighting even if his body is paralyzed, or if he has multiple broken bones. Some of the members of the Quincy clan possess a special symbol, and when they activate it, they assume a form known as Quincy, Volstandig. Quilge gains a number of accessories made entirely out of reishi, including boots, gauntlets, a sword, a chest holster, and a pair of angelic wings. With this form, Quilge gains the ability to fly, as well as enhanced speed and spiritual awareness. He gains dominance over reishi as well, which allows him to absorb reishi in higher quantities, and he can use it to release powerful attacks from the tip of his sword. The 1,000-Year Blood War arc will show a number of Quincy transformations, and Quilge will be the first Quincy to assume a terrifying form. This ability is called Sclaverai, and it allows him to forcibly gather reishi by enslaving it. When he uses this ability, he can literally tear apart the spiritual components that make up Soul Society and Hueco Mundo. Quilge can take the spiritual components from people's bodies as well, and if he does, he can take on some of their characteristics and capabilities. This level of absorption turns Quilge into a monster, and it gives him enhanced strength, but he can only use it as long as there is reishi to absorb. As a member of the Stern Ritter, Quilge possesses a unique power that was bestowed upon him by Yuhabak. His ability is called the Jail, and it allows him to create constructs out of reishi that can forcibly close dimensional gateways. This means that he can stop someone from escaping through the Dangai or through a Garganta. He can also create reishi cages that can trap his opponents. If someone is trapped within this cage, their spiritual presence is sealed off so that no one on the outside can detect them, and no one can hear them either. This cage was able to withstand Ichigo's Bankai-enhanced Getsuga Tensho. And worst of all, the cage remains even if Quilge dies. We hope you've enjoyed this enigmatic world of Quincy powers and witnessed the sheer might of Quilge Opie's ability. If you're interested for more epic content and in-depth analysis, be sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell. Join us as we continue to unravel the mysteries and unleash the power of anime's most captivating characters. Thank you for watching. I'm signing off.